is Delta Sierra Juliet. Is there any known traffic below 5,000 feet?
No known traffic.
Seems to be a large aircraft below 5,000 feet.
What type of aircraft is it?
I cannot confirm. It's four bright, seems to be like landing lights. The aircraft has just passed over me at least 1,000 feet above. Is there any Air Force aircraft in the vicinity?
No known aircraft in the vicinity.
Seems to be playing some sort of game. He's flying over me. Delta Sierra Juliet, it's not an aircraft, it's...
So before we get into the part where things get deeply weird, and trust me, they get deeply weird, let's talk about the man at the center of this story, Frederick Valentich. Now, Fred, being a 20-year-old from Australia, only had one dream in life, and that was to ride on the back of a kangaroo into battle. No kangaroos or Aussies were harmed in the filming of this video. Ever since Fred was a wee boy, he dreamed of flying high. Being born June 9th, 1958,
Damn. What the hell, boy?
in Melbourne, Australia, his parents Guido and Alberta, Guido is a tough name, by the way, Guido and Alberta immigrated from Italy to Australia. From the time Fred was born all the way up into his teen years, he dreamt of nothing but flying high, even to the point at joining the Air Training Corps at a young age. He worked grueling long hours as a bank clerk just to fund his aviation antics. He loved flying so much that he even tried enlisting into the Royal Australian Air Force twice, but both times he got denied. Not because he wasn't passionate or he just didn't have the drive. No, it was because he failed educationally. He lacked the qualifications to pass the tests. Look, I'm not a Picasso when it comes to geometry or anything, but Neil deGrasse Tyson can strike me down right now. At least I know what 2 + 2 is 6.
Shut your stupid.
And you would think something like that would crush Fred's dream of being able to fly. But no, he was more determined than ever to get in the air. More determined than Rod Wave being in a Chick-fil-A drive-thru.
I want some fries and chicken, a side of biscuit, that ain't enough for me.
So since he wasn't able to join the Air Force, he tried to get his pilot's license. And then he went on to... Sorry. And then he went on to fail all 5 pilot exams. Not once, but twice. Look, I'm not trying to clown the guy or anything. I just need you to understand the caliber of human being we're working with here, because that's not even the worst of it. The month before Fred disappeared, he failed that same exam 3 more times. Not to mention the financial debt that he was racking up with the plane company, the same plane company that he used to rent out his planes. And when the company asked how would he pay, Fred said this, and I quote, "Don't worry, I've got passengers coming from Sydney who are going to pay me," end quote. Those passengers never existed. When someone owes you money and you ask them where your money is, and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, "Don't worry," you might as well just cut your losses, because you're never seeing that bread again. Fred lived a very interesting life. And one of the key points in his life that interested me the most was his infatuation with UFOs. Now, I'm not one to hate on anyone's beliefs, but by golly, do I believe aliens are real too. Because every time I FaceTime my brother, he just looks unworldly. I mean, the levels of chopped he is can only be described galactical levels of chopped, and I don't even know if that's a real word. But anyways, even to the point where his own father called him a UFO fanatic. Fred even claimed that he had seen UFOs before near the Air Force bases. The people that knew him or spoke to him on a regular basis said that he would talk about UFOs constantly. And just days before Fred's final flight, he told his girlfriend Rhonda that he was even scared to get in the air. Scared that he might be abducted. Scared that he might see a UFO. And just like that, 3 days later when Fred took off, he flew over the Bass Strait and was never seen again. And for the ones that don't know where the Bass Strait is, it's in between Tasmania and Cape Barren. Cape Barren, this is the Bass Strait right here. On a near perfect Saturday evening, on October 21st, 1978, Fred took off at 6:19 p.m. from the Moorabbin Airport near Melbourne. His stated destination was King Island, which was only a 125-mile flight over the Bass Strait. When contacting the flight company, he told him he was going to pick up passengers. But when communicating with his girlfriend Rhonda, he told her something different. He then reaches Cape Otway exactly at 7 p.m. and checks into the Melbourne flight services. And at that point, everything is going according to plan. And then at 7:06 p.m., almost 6 minutes later, everything for Fred changes. Fred then gets back on the radio, and what he says next would confuse investigators, fascinate UFO researchers, and haunt the aviation world for almost 5 decades. He asked Steve Robbie, which was the air traffic controller at that time, if there was any known air traffic below 5,000 feet in this area. Robbie checks and gets back to Fred and tells him no, there are no aircrafts near you. And then as soon as Steve reassures Fred that there is nothing up there with him, almost immediately, Fred comes back on the radio and says that there is something up there with him.
Delta Sierra Juliet, what type of aircraft is it? That was deleted from the press accounts for some reason. Delta Sierra Juliet, and confirm you cannot identify the aircraft. Delta Sierra Juliet, roger. Stand by. Can you describe the aircraft? Delta Sierra Juliet, roger. How large would her object be? Delta Sierra Juliet. Delta Sierra Juliet, confirm the aircraft just vanished behind us. Delta Sierra Juliet, is the aircraft still with you? Delta Sierra Juliet, roger. What are your intentions?
My intention is to go to King Island, Melbourne. The aircraft is hovering on top of the again. It is hovering, and it's not an aircraft. Delta Sierra Juliet, Melbourne.
As you saw from the audio clip, Fred's engine started idling really rough, and a short time later, you can hear a metallic sound through the radio. Nobody knows what that sound is still to this day, but what everyone does know is that right after those metallic sounds, nothing came from Fred's side of the radio, and he was never seen again after that. And of course, there was an investigation launched in the disappearance of Frederick Valentich. And at the end of the investigation, the cause was presumed fatal, which basically means we think he's dead, but not really. There could be a small possibility that he's still out there. Me personally, I'm not buying it. I have a couple theories in my back pocket, if you would allow me. My first theory is that he became disoriented when he flipped the plane upside down accidentally and not realizing it. and the reflection that he seen was just the airplane lights off of the water. Now, this is a real thing in the aviation world, and it is called a graveyard spiral, and it's killed numerous pilots over the years. Now, back in 2013, some bigwig pilots said that this was the most plausible cause for Fred's disappearance, but I'm not buying it. Here's where things get a little iffy. Do you remember me saying that it happened on a Saturday? Almost perfect. And when I mean perfect, no clouds in the sky, clear, sunny day, crisp winds. The most beautiful October day you could imagine. That's what it looked like for Fred that day. So how could he get confused? Where was the disorientation coming from? It was a nice sunny day. That's why I'm not buying it. My second theory, which is the one that I'm leaning more towards, is that he staged his own disappearance and faked his death to go live a new life somewhere. We've already spoke about it earlier in the video. We already knew he had debt. Life wasn't going his way with the schooling and the dead-end job at the bank, him owing money, and the girlfriend he felt the need to have to lie to all the time. I guarantee you, he just didn't want to live that kind of life no more for whatever reason. So me personally, I think he's somewhere with like Tupac or something, just chilling on a beach sipping Mai Tais. And my third and final theory. This motherfucker really did get abducted by aliens. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts, like no confusion. He really did get took and he got probed. I mean, because when you think about it, when they launched the investigation, what did they find? Nothing. Now, I understand planes, when they fall into the ocean, they sink over time, but they had a long time to try to look for this airplane and they couldn't find it anywhere. No remnants of it. No nothing. It just up and disappeared. No, it got snatched. It got abducted. And those are my three theories. But whether if Fred crashed, whether he ran away, whether he encountered something otherworldly in that sky that we have no name for, he deserved much better than what he got. He disappeared with no explanation, and no one should have that happen to them. The Australian Department of Transportation closed the case, of course, without cause, and the sky over the Bass Strait kept no record or no log of Fred even flying over it, not even of the crash. And, of course, if you made it this far, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is Beyond the Tree Line, where we go looking for the answers that nobody else wants to find. Subscribe if you want to come with me on this journey, because we're just getting started. And Fred, wherever you are, man, I hope you finally got some answers.